Foreclosed land that goes back to the city is often sold through the Omaha Municipal Land Bank for a low price. Most lots are in North Omaha.
6 News' Bella Caracta shares how a local organization based in the neighborhood is hoping to empower people to purchase this land and create generational wealth.
Vacant lots, abandoned properties.
When I was a child, this whole thing was, pretty much full. There was businesses and candy stores and grocery stores. I look at it now and it's desolate.
Marcus Hines with Heart Ministry Center in North Omaha is encouraging people to learn about the Omaha Municipal Land Bank. The land bank has more than 300 properties for sale, most less than $10,000. But there are some newer things for people to know, which is why Hines invited seasoned developer Don Curry to speak at an event next week.
My goal is to basically add some beauty to the community, and hopefully that'll be a seed to have others do the same thing.
Curry has bought 6 properties from the land bank. He says he had to show proof of financing and a plan for the land within 45 days. Changes implemented last year now give people 90 days, but require a building permit.
It's intimidating.
The land bank has an onus to make sure that we stimulate the economy, making sure that all of the investments, all of the powers that allows us to clean these properties free